Hey to all, welcome to Hack Shack Studios. I'm your host, Art Thibert, and I will be inking for the next hour or so. I'm going to try to bring this piece of artwork together. Let me see. Got to click this piece of artwork right here. I'm going to try to finish it up before your very eyes. So this is the Vampirella-Black and White variant cover for Dynamite that I'm working on. And it seems like it's been forever since I've been working on this, but I've been doing a bunch of other things at the same time in the meantime. So this morning I was working with Narwhal on some color work for Chrono Mechanics. So hey Archgeek, how are you? So I seem like I'm low energy, but I'm actually just kind of relaxed today. It's a Sunday and there's not a lot of stress today. And I just went out and had a lovely lunch with my family. So we went to El Pollo Loco. We ate some crazy chicken. So you'd think I'd be pretty hyper after eating a bunch of crazy chicken, but I am not. So I am incredibly focused and I want to get this page done or this cover done. So hey to all. And hey, you know what? I'm going to do this just because I appreciate it. Hey, Archgeek. Hey, Peter. How are you? So I also had the window open, so you're probably going to hear some life happening outside. So I apologize, but it's just a nice day today, and I need some fresh air. Oh, cool. It's a party now. It's a party. Yeah, damn these covers. Vilnid, hello. We have Ray. Awesome. And Archgeek is back. Haha. I'm good, man. I'm good. So you guys buckle up, Buttercup, because I'm going to be trying to finish this thing up. I have some pencil work still on it. Let me see. I have to kind of tighten up these eyes a little bit here on her. That's white. I still have to finish penciling Black's hand and gun. And then I have to, sometimes I procrastinate on what to do till the very end. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of lenses to put into these robotic skulls. And let me zoom this in because for some reason, the camera looks better up close than pulled back. So there's the robotic skeletons that they just conquered, that they just beat. And I don't know if there's other artists out there in the chat, but sometimes I'll make Xerox copies of things and I'll try to figure out some ideas. So before I commit, especially to some heavy blacks, I'll try things. So I was looking at a lot of Bernie Wrightson, like his Swamp Thing and in the swamp and the way he does water. And so I was kind of inspired to maybe bring some blacks down on the bottom here and anchor it. And then what I was thinking is the color, since there's blood and she's she's a vampire, that maybe some of this could be running down and then pulling in some of these areas so that around the base of the skull, there'd be some reds or whatever color these robots bleed, maybe a green. So I thought that might be cool. And then there's this one that's kind of reverse. So instead of all this area here being black, I did these areas black. And it's going to have a little bit of like murky kind of bubbles and stuff in the water as well. So I am going to do that. So maybe in the chat, you guys can help me decide. So there's number 1, which is with the open water. So the water's more for color. And then there's this version here, which has the black in the water. And so back here too is going to be hatching. So this will be number 2. So type in the chat 1 or 2, and we'll figure this out. So this one's 2, and this one's 1. And then I have another idea that's kind of a hybrid between the two. So it's not quite as open as this one, and it's not quite as dense as this one. So this will be an interactive stream. You guys can tell me what to do here. You guys can boss me around. So 1 or 2 in the chat. So Victor says 1. So that's the open area here. So just keep in mind, you guys, this black here and the blacks and the figure and stuff, that's going to be here as well. It's mainly just the base part here that's different. So we have a 2. Ray is 2. The hybrid. Wait, Victor says 1 and then he says hybrid. I'm confused. So we have 1 1. We have 2. We have 2 1s and 1 2. Oh wait, tough choice. In black and white, I like 2. All right, it's a tie. Wait, no, Archgeek tiebreak. Oh, Comic Book Bob's chiming in too. So we have Archgeek. 1 will work better with color. 2 will work better in black and white. So I say 1. Okay, and then Comic Book Bob says 1, and then Ray says 12. Thank you. That's no help. All right. So this looks like it's a pretty 50-50 kind of thing. Now you guys know where my dilemma's at. 50-50. Yeah, Victor says, yeah, I don't like all the over-inking. Don't kill yourself doing that. Oh my gosh, but I like to over-ink. It's my favorite thing to do. Oh, I got the black and white trading card for you guys too. So we got the sample in, so I'll show you that, but I want to get to work here and start putting some stuff down. Putting it down. So I got my little Nicks here, my little European Art Adams tribute. So I pull stuff from all over the place. So I think what makes somebody's style is all of their influences. So I definitely have all my influences here. So I'm going to bring, this was a lot of work to figure this one out, you guys, but I'm going to bring some hatching back here and then here and fade into this black here. And so the reason I wanted to hit this, instead of make it black, keep it open, so it looks like the back of his skull and her leg will stand out a little bit more. You know what? I'm going to have to raise this mic because it's right on top of my inkwell. So I'm going to keep bumping it. And so then this will match the one just below it or off to the side. I didn't want this to be solid black, so I wanted to break it up a little bit with some different texture. Okay, so I think I'm warmed up enough to handle this one. Sometimes I'll ink through things like that just so I can keep the flow. I don't plan on doing it, but if it happens, it's no big deal. I'll just clean it up. But it's better to get that flow. So I'm doing a lot more detail on this than I usually do on interiors, because I want it to look special. So special. So we got Cam. Cam showed up. We got Sonic Goon. Wait, I got to put my glasses on. I got to make sure I saw that right. It looks like Sonic Goon. I can't ink with my glasses on, and I can't read the chat without them. Yeah, Sonic Goon. Number one, make it a pool of blood. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But either way, it can work with the black or with the white. Don't forget to hit like, everyone. Yes, please. So Archgeek, please hit like. Good advice. And also, if you know anybody who likes this type of entertainment, tweet it out. Like and share, like Comic Book Bud said. Thanks, Bub. Hello there. Hi. So you guys doing good on Sunday? So we got a couple more details on white here. I'm gonna do some more folds here. And got some details here. Then I got her hand grenades. The grenades. So this is an outside structure here, so I want it to be a little thicker. And my nib and ink are drying too quickly. I may need to add some more ink to the quill, into the bottle, I should say. So I hope this is in fairly good focus. I try with the camera, but the lighting changes throughout the day, so what works one time a day doesn't work the next. So I think I need to invest in one of those reflective light. I don't know what those things are called. They have a light in it, and then the light shines at the like white umbrella thing, and then it reflects the light back, so you don't have harsh lighting, you don't have harsh shadows. I think that's what I need. I was talking to, who was it? Was it Walden Wong? And he said that's what he uses. There's always a million things to do, though. So have you guys seen The Joker yet? There's a lot of good buzz on it. So I still need to go see that, do a review. All the right people are digging it, so it makes me think it's going to be good. Do you guys know, maybe this is a spoiler, but is Batman in the movie, or is he mentioned? Because I heard somebody talk about it, and it was unclear if Batman's actually in the movie or just mentioned. Because I think they were saying that Thomas Wayne is in the movie. And that, well, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know if you guys might get spoiler territory. But there's a lot of stuff out there, so probably not spoiling too much. Because I thought it was going to work completely independent of the Batman mythology. I didn't know there was going to be like Bat characters in it, like, you know, Thomas Wayne or any of those characters. And my nib's being a little bit of a prima donna. I think it's the ink. I'm going to put a little refresher in before I start doing anything that requires a lot of flow, like the hair and things like that. Thank you, Sonic. I appreciate it. This is done. Send it to the colorist. No, it's not done. It's close. It is close. Very excited about it. Is that very excited about the Joker movie? Saw it Friday. So did you like it, Sonic? It's a solo act as far as I know. Yeah, but I thought from what I remember, it seemed like it was going to just be the Joker, but then I heard somebody talking about it, that it has some of like Thomas Wayne and Bruce is in it. I don't know how they would bring Batman in it. And I haven't heard that Batman's in it, but I heard a lot of other characters. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it because anything I say would be spoiler territory, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. All right. Hand grenades. Those look pretty good. Okay, so pan up, pan up. We have the structure of her mask. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, look, the mask isn't even in here yet. I was holding my breath on that one. So I want to add just a little bit of thickness to show that it's recessed. To give it a little bit of dimensionality or dimension. I don't know if dimensionality is a word. It should be a word. Okay. Little nose. And I need to clean my nib because I'm going in for some fine detail. So guys, if there's any aspiring inkers out there, sometimes before you go in for really fine detail, you want to make sure there's nothing on the nib because you really only get one shot at it. That's not very forgiving. So you got to make sure you go in and get it right the first time. Okay, get a little mole there. A little tattoo. It's not really, it's like an energy to show that black and white are simpatico, that they're linked up via the helmet link. I'm just going to have to read the story and find out what I'm talking about. Okay. So here we go. I think Vampy just has her hair and face left. Okay. I really should use a brush on this, but that would require me getting up. And the reason a brush is because you can get a better flow with it. So is this the last day for the New York Comic Con? I think it is. That's a great show. I haven't been in a couple years, but every time I do it, go to the show. The fans are great. That artist alley is amazing. The Artists Alley. Get this one in here. Okay, it's starting to come together. So give you a better shot of it. Thicker. So she's got a little bit of a halo around her head where the light is picking up. Detail, and my nib is getting chunky again. I'll use this as an excuse to read the chat. We got Cindy Hyper. Cindy Hyper's here. This looks really good. Woohoo! I like that so much, I'm going to highlight it. If that really is you, Cindy, in the image, then I'm sure you're very popular because you're very pretty. Sonic Goon, easy, the best movie based on a comic book character ever. So that's the Joker. Do you guys think it is going to get an Oscar nod because from what I hear, the performance is top notch by Joaquin Phoenix. It isn't the Joker from Batman, just the same name, nothing to do with it. Yeah, but I think, see, I don't want to say anything, but I think there's Batman characters in there. Like there's the Waynes and stuff like that. Hey, everyone. Hey, Simon. How are you? Hey, Liam's here. Woo! Chris Evans. The Chris Evans? That'd be pretty cool. Either way, still cool. Okay, Simon Hale. Chris Evans. Looking great. Chris Evans. When is the cover scheduled to come out? You know what? I don't know. I just emailed my editors. I have very little detail on this, actually. Nick Bruch just asked me if I want to do it. I said yes. He said he'd email me the details, and he never did. So I think the only thing he said is he's like, it's going to be like what Ethan did with Cyberfrog and Vampirella. So that's all I know. Is this for Vampirella 1? I don't know. Yeah, I think everything I know is what I just said. That's funny. Is this going to be crowdfunded cover, or are we paying straight to the publisher for the variant? I believe this is going to be a crowd fund because he said like Ethan. So I assume that's what he meant by that. But like I said, I'm still not really sure about the details yet. Hey, my wife's coming in. Hey, Pamela, say hi to the chat.
Hi, chat.
I think they agree with you. They say it's done. Move on.
Yep.
It's done. Move on. And then I'm like inking things, and they're starting to go, wait, it's not done.
No, it's done.
No, look. All this is in pencil still. This is not there. Let the colorist finish it. Hey, I like that. Looking great, Art. Oh, wait, you got a hello, Pamela.
Hi.
She walks away. She just comes in there, stills the show, and then just walks away. She's always the star of the show. The devil is in the details. Yes. Wait, then that would make me Satan. I'm not so sure about that. But yeah, this is going to be detail mania. I love detail when I have time to do it. Don't tell EVS. Oh, you know what? I should highlight these and then read them. Don't tell EVS, but I like your Vampirella take better. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a new controversy here. A new controversy. Somebody tweet this out. Tweet this out and let's start some crap. Let's start a turf war. Whose is better? All I know is that mine is bigger. Is that a giant skull? Wait, it moved. Wait, there it goes. Yes, Roy, it is a giant skull. They are robotic skeletons. And there you go. Yes. Okay. Thank you for that, Roy. You guys are so awesome. I'm not going to get any work done. I'm totally... Thanks for ratting me out. I don't know, man. It was there for everybody to read. The true ratting you out, James, will be if people tweet that out. So just remember, James Hayes. He's the guy. Okay, let's get these in there. I want that to fade into the blacks. There we go. So let's get back in the hair the hairy hair rehousing. Okay. Gonna turn this around because this stroke needs to go this way, and then this way, and then this way. This is why it's probably would be better to use a brush, because then I wouldn't be backfilling all this stuff to keep track of it all. A brush, I could just put pressure down, and that would be it. It would be all filled and everything. The right tool for the right job. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I want another one there. I want this one to connect into that one. After I'm done, I'll show you a close-up because I don't think this camera is doing a lot of this justice, and a lot of this is fine detail. I think these live streams work best when you're kind of doing bold outline stuff. Sometimes the details just get lost. So yeah, okay. Got to get those little strands so it doesn't look so plastic, so it looks more organic. You want it to look like it's flowing. So here we go. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I have the high res. We're on Black and White, the Indiegogo campaign. We're still getting things printed up, and we've been working with a local printer for the ash cans. And my wife and I, we've been tweaking up the ash can and just spending more money on upgraded paper and cover stock and just all kinds of cool stuff. So that ash can is looking really, really cool. So it was just kind of an impromptu idea, was instead of the cover being black and white, that we would make the cover color. It's going to be a color cover, you guys. Cover and back cover of the ash can, the 16-page ash can with the Extreme Studios backup story in it. That's what I'm talking about. And I just kind of did it just on like a humbug, just like, oh, let's just see. And so I went to Perea, who's the guy that did the interior color. And I just asked him, because, I hadn't worked with him in a while. And I just said, would you like to do a black and white cover? And he said, hells yes. And so I sent it to him, and a couple days later, I got a brilliant. Usually, he and I go back and forth with notes and stuff. He nailed it, man. He must have been inspired. He nailed it, and the color is awesome on the cover. So if I had a high res, I would show you. All I have is the one he sent just to get it okayed. So I should get that soon, and when I do, I'll share it with you guys because it looks really cool. Yeah, it's a remastering, but kind of like all the remastering, almost like a redrawing of the original Image Comics cover from 1994. So I started it based on the original, and then digitally redrew over it, and it came out really cool. And so I flung it off to Priya, the colorist, and he knocked it out of the ballpark. So I'm going to do a lot more inking and drawing live streams coming up, just because I need to somehow start combining work with these streams so I can entertain you guys at the same time getting work done. And I think I have three pages of Chrono Mechanics pencils to be inked, and then I have a variant cover by the great should I say maybe I'll tease this for a bit and go to the chat. Haha, teaser. All right, we got Roy cover. Let's go back. Oh, we got Sticky Wicked. Hey, Sticky, the show Friday, the Angel show, was freaking amazing. My daughter is such a sweetheart to go all the way into Hollywood to the Whiskey to see them. They didn't go on till 11:30. There were five opening acts. I can't even call them bands. I shouldn't even call them acts. Oh my gosh, they were so bad. If you guys were fans of any of the bands, I can't remember the names. And if you are, I hope I'm not stepping on any toes. But man, we were in hell we got there late too. We missed the first two bands. There were 5 opening bands, so we missed the first 2 bands. The first 2 bands. So and then we walked in because I didn't know there were going to be 5 bands. And so I asked the guy working the door, and I said, when's the lead act going on? He says 11. And so I think it was 8, around 8 at the time. So then my daughter and I just walked around Hollywood. I showed her the old stomping grounds where the Rainbow and the different clubs, even the Viper Room. Not that I ever went. In the day, that place was nuts. It looks pretty tame now. Actually, for a Friday night, Sunset Boulevard looked pretty tame, man. In the day, in the late 70s, early 80s, that place was nuts. So it's pretty calm now. But we went and we grabbed some ice cream, and we went down to the was it the WeHo district, and that's West Hollywood. So it's very nice, very clean, very rainbowy. And we hung out there for an hour or so, had our ice cream, and then walked back up to Sunset. And I think we missed a half of one of the other bands. So we ended up still seeing 2.5 bands, and it felt like pulling teeth. Actually, I would rather get my teeth pulled because they numb you and they gave you good drugs. This, I had to self-medicate. We both did. So it's very expensive to self-medicate at those clubs, but I did anyway. So it was my birthday. Well, part of my birthday present. So she bought me a few drinks. That was very nice. So Liam, let me see. I'm supposed to do this. Is it possible to depict Vanta Black in art? What is Vanta Black in art? I asked because I might be nice to combo with some foil. Oh, on black and white cover. Yeah. My wife and I, Pamela, we have been looking into some foil enhancements and things. We won't be doing those with the already funded Black and White campaign. We may do that with Volume 2, but we are going to do some foil enhancements and just enhancements in general for the Chrono Mechanics, which is going to be my next campaign, which is going live next week, late next week. So look forward to Chrono Mechanics, because we have the Precious Metal Collection, which is going to be 4 variant covers, and they're all going to be signed and numbered and foil enhanced. And so there's going to be a cog in one of the corners, probably the lower right-hand corner, where we'll put the number and we'll sign. The signature will be in there as well. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to design it so it looks really cool going into it. So that's going to be the Precious Metal Collection. And I think I've already showed that we have Aaron Lopresti. I think I showed off his cover. So he did Zen. So I'll be showing some of that stuff and letting you guys see more about Chrono Mechanics as we get closer to going live on Indiegogo. So you're supposed to click it, then read it. Art, I hope to see you streaming with EVS soon. I like to talk with vets and new talent. Yeah, you know, it would be cool. It's weird right now. I don't know if people aren't sharing platforms as much, or I mean, I could be reading into it, but it seems like the bat symbol hasn't been up as much as it used to be. So it's you have to be invited to the streams. So we got Roy cover. Let me see this. That's clever drawing the image upside down on the art. Oh, you know what? This seems to bug you guys. Like that I printed it upside down. I don't know why I did. It just turned out that way. But yeah, I'm sorry about that if I'm messing with your sensibilities. Okay, you guys are on fire in the chat here. You should put this cover up for auction, EVS. Man, Ethan sold his for a couple thousand. If anybody in chat remembers what he sold his for, I think he did it on a live auction. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. It's a really awesome piece, even if it's in that unfinished state. Oh, it'll be done by the day's end. Dang it, I have Metallica blasting in the background. I think I missed your answer to the skull question. Yeah, they're robotic skulls. Yeah. Yes, they are. Terrific work. Oh, thanks, Drew. AKA Mr. E. The mysterious Mr. E. You guys are awesome. Oh, man, this thing's... I'm not even close to reading through these yet. Chicken and waffles. What is that? What are your future plans for with Black and White? Oh, well, we're in fulfillment right now. And you know what? Since I have this up here, let me show you this. This would be the trading card. This camera stinks. It's all blown out or in shadow. Let me see. Maybe I can move. Let's see if this helps. Does that help? A little bit. Yeah. So this is the trading card. This is the front side of it. Look at it's all glossy. It's all shiny. So that's that. It's got the logo down here. And then we got the stats back here. So you guys can keep up their power ratings. These guys are all way more powerful than Lone Star, by the way. So take that, Michael. With their suits on, with their suits and blasters, they'd easily be able to take down Lone Star. So there. Yeah, so it's got the little, we did this for fun down here, the did you know facts. So I'm not going to read those because I want it to be a surprise. But it's really fun. We got some fun stuff down there. So, yeah, so, excuse me, this is the sample. It has been okayed. So then we're going to go full on printing on these bad boys. So I think we have like 1,500 of them to print up for you guys. So this was one of the stretch goals. So this is a freebie. So this was just thrown in for the heck of it, just to show my appreciation. So there's that. Let me get back to inking Where is Liam? I gotta see. You got to click on the same one for it to go away. And it's tricky because this thing's moving like crazy. Roxham, and we have the real Steve Dye in the house. Hey, Steve Dye, what's up? We got Edwin, the Ace Vado. Are you going to work?
Uh-huh.
My daughter's going to go to work. She's taking what they're given because she's working for a living. Wait, somebody says over 2,000 and somebody says 72,000? No. For the Ethan cover? 72,000? That's crazy, Victor. Maybe 7,200? Maybe the decimal point's in the wrong place. Oh, okay. So yeah, Victor, Mike sold an original cover for. Wait a minute. When you say 72K, are you saying $72,000? Man, that would feed those kids for a long time. Roscoe's reference art. I mean, if you're killing. Oh yeah. Roscoe's is that Chicken Waffles. Yeah. Yeah. I heard that place is great. I've never been there. Hey, Amanda, have you had Roscoe's chicken?
Yeah, but Earl keeps trying to take me to the closest ones in LA.
Yeah, that's what the real Steve Dye is talking about. How close to Sunset is that? Because I didn't want to have to pay for parking again. So we ended up walking everywhere. How's your father? Says 72,000. No way. Yeah, somebody's got to clear this up. Roscoe's is overrated. I don't know. It sounds weird, like chicken and waffles, but it's a combination that I'm not totally adverse to.
I like chicken and waffles.
Well, you like waffles, period.
I like chicken, period.
You know what? I actually like waffles more than pancakes. How are you, Amanda? You like waffles more than pancakes?
No, I like pancakes more than waffles. See you, Deb.
See ya.
Have a good podcast. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
That was my daughter, Amanda. She works for Starbucks. So when I say she's taking what they're given because she's working for a living, my gosh, the stories that kid has to tell.
I've had lattes thrown at me. I've had people threaten to kill me in the drive-thru. We should do a podcast on it. It's great.
Yeah. We should call it taking what they're given.
Yeah.
Because my daughter's working for a living. See, you guys are cool. Like, that's why you don't want a Joe job. You want an art job because you get to hang out with cool people like Roy and the real Steve Dye. And F Google, too. I got to figure out how to say that eventually. Fook you. No. That was Art's uncomfortably attractive daughter. What does that mean? Wait, I have to absorb this. That was Art's uncomfortably attractive daughter. Is she uncomfortable or me? I don't know. Oh, what is a Bulver? Is that, I guess, in your country maybe? So maybe that's like 7. I can see 7,000. That still seems like a lot for a cover, but that's pretty cool. How's your father? Is she getting combat pay? No way. She should. Roscoe's is good, but you know what? I forgot to click on these. But has become hipster gathering zone. You know what? Everything's hipster gathering zone. It was better and more interesting when Roscoe's was a late night dive. Yeah, I think most of those places are like Pink's, and even for on some level when I was a kid in LA County, even Jack in the Box was kind of a dive. They used to have a place called Pup and Tacos, where they sell hot dogs and really horrible tacos, but they were the only things that were open. So if you get the munchies, if you know what I mean, late night, you end up stopping there. So yeah, I know what you mean by dives, because you rate them on a different level than you do like normal food. So if you can classify it as a dive, then it's better. Okay, 40 American. Oh, cool. Okay. So Facebook is telling me it's your birthday. No, tomorrow's my birthday. Today is the day before my birthday. Eating good though. Always treat yourself, you guys. It's one of the few pleasures we have every day, and that's eating. And for me, sleeping. I know I shouldn't enjoy sleeping as much as I do, but I do. All right, let's finish up her hair. You guys are a great obstacle. I mean, not obstacle. What do you call that? Distraction. Obstacle, distraction. What's the difference? So it sounds like a lot of you in the chat either live in LA or have lived here. So that's cool. So yeah, you want to break up the hair with some hatching. Otherwise, it looks real plastic. And you don't want that. You want it to be fairly organic looking. That is also why I probably should have done this with the brush. But I got stubborn. All right. Working my way up to the bangs. It's weird. Like there's some characters that you draw and it almost feels like you've drawn them a million times. And I must be so familiar with this character, this Vampirella character, that I didn't even really have to look up reference. So I usually like the top part where it catches the light to be semi-smooth. Not a lot of hatching. So also, if you guys are going to be or live in New York or be in the, is it Suffolk area? My daughter and I are going to be at a Comic-Con there. It's a one-day show. And I'll get the dates for you later, but there's a website. You can check it out. And my daughter's an artist as well. So a lot of times we do these shows together. And so she's going to have a booth as well. And she'll be selling her photos from her modeling. And a lot of her, she's got prints. And she's got some originals. I think she's going to bring some of her paintings. So you guys don't disappoint. Go with some money because those are hard to travel with because they're fairly big. And you have to pack them very well. And I'm sure she doesn't want to carry them back home with her because that's a drag. So if you guys go as well, I believe Jeff Eckelberry, who letters all my books, is going to be there as well. He says he's not going to sign or anything. He's just going to hang, but I'm sure he would love if you guys came up and said hi. Make him feel good. A lot of us work in a vacuum, so we don't really get to interact with the people that buy the books and stuff like that. So it's really nice to get out and when people recognize and acknowledge the work, because it really does feel like you just make it, you send it out, and then that's kind of the extent of it. We don't really get to interact too much. And after doing this for as long as I have, the interaction here on YouTube with you guys is like a breath of fresh air. This is so much fun, and I'm glad you guys hang out because I have a blast. It's almost there. Her hair is almost done. I like doing dark hair, but sometimes it's a little bit more work than lighter hair. Okay, so hair done. Now I'm going to get into face details, but I need to clean this pin off. Yeah, if you guys don't know what I mean by cleaning the nib, I have this, and then I just kind of wipe the nib. And sometimes you'll hear this sound. That's me. I just do this every once in a while. So I clean the tip off. It's a faster way of doing it. And because little crap and stuff catches in the nib, and so you want to make sure that it doesn't have any of that junk in there, because it makes for a dirty line and a muddy line, and you don't want that. You always want it to be as clean as possible. This is the nerve-wracking part. And you guys, I do always leave the faces for last. I feel I need to warm up or something to get to them or get up confidence. Even when I ink my own faces, I still feel that. So this line right here, I want it a little thick, but not too thick. And then I just want to pull out like that. Okay. So you might see the top of my head because I need to get really close to the drawing to get these eyes in. I need to get close so I can see the detail. All right, my nib is mucking up on me. Clean it off. So I'll give you close up so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I hope that camera is doing its job. It's not a cheap camera, but from what the research I've done, it's the program that it's going through. So StreamYard or YouTube or whatever, it interacts with them differently. So you always get a different kind of resolution with the camera. And I don't like it. I'm the kind of guy that I like old technology where you just point it and click it or whatever. There weren't a million variables to the result that you would get. like with the computer, there's always a million variables. I don't like it. Because it's weird. I have to kind of set the camera up differently every time. I'm going to do this black here because it's bothering me. So once I get this, then, except for the blacks, she's done filling the blacks. I usually, well, I always use a brush for that. Okay. Make sure this one is looking in the right direction. And put my, you know what? The highlight is on the wrong side. I'll put it over here. If something's wrong, don't hesitate in changing it in the inks, because there's always time. Okay. All right. So she's there. Like I said, with the exception of filling the blacks. So there's that. So I think I'm going to do, I had it worked out. Let me see if I can do this. I had it worked out on this and I kind of liked it. I like this black more there than here. So I have this and I kind of like the effect that's there. So I kind of like the streaks. And so this would all be black. It'll make sense once I put the black in, but it should look like this right here. So sometimes it's, you know, you're still adjusting and readjusting as you go along. All right, let's have some fun, some unstructured fun. So I'm getting these a little closer together and thicker as I go in. The reason is so it looks like it's fading in. And so the key for me doing this is finding the main hatches and then inking them first. And then kind of going in with the secondary. And also when you're doing this much, throwing down this much ink, and you're going to do cross hatching. I don't know if you guys can see in the pencils. There's a lot of cross hatching and things in here. So you got to kind of jump around You can't go over the lines you just did because it'll just bleed because there's too much. It's too wet. And then you'll see how this all comes together. It's a cool pattern. Man, it's getting hot in here. I'm going to turn the fan on. You guys are going to hear a slight sound, but it's getting a little warm. I hope that's not too loud. So Rock'em's awesome. Rock'em Black and White and Vamp, yes. Or Vamp in Black and White. That's probably how they're going to sell it. So here's another. Oh, that wind feels better. The fan. So just kind of bop around and, like I said, get some of the key hatching. Okay, so some of this early stuff is dry now. So I can go back in and start with my secondary hatching. Okay, so then I have this one here. I kind of follow my pencils, but as I progress with it, it gets harder to see them. So then it's more of just going with the suggested intent, I guess, of the hatching. Yes, it does make noise. Man, the old studio, there would be like, 3 or 4 of us. See that big chunk there? That's because this ink is still wet. And so that's what I'm talking about, where you can't go over it. And also when you guys see stuff like that, like the novice is like you're not in tune with the nib that well, and you'll just keep blaring through it and you'll just make a mess. So also when you get to that point, recognize it and then stop, because you can't, it's too wet. You can't go through it. So it's best just to stop, even though you're kind of on a rhythm and flow and you might be stubborn, you just want it done, but you have to stop because you'll just make a complete mess. A complete and utter mess. All right, let's go down here. Looks like there's some wet or dry ink here. I should. I don't know why I didn't do it, but I'll do it now. Sometimes it's good to have this shape. Sometimes I don't like it there because then I feel too beholden to it, but it helps to figure out how how dark your fade needs to be to go into these solid black areas. basically so I can gauge how close and how thick these lines need to get as they get closer to the black. And that stuff I'm inking through is not dry. So it's giving me a problem there. But it was dry enough. So you can kind of see how this pattern is taking shape. I love doing this because to me, this effect is, in a strange way, it's my nod to Frank Frazetta, and he does like these color shapes in the background. They're like mist, and they're multicolored, and they just kind of come up and around. And so I always liked that as a kid. So I think this is my attempt at doing that effect. I'm going to go this way. Sometimes you need to go in the direction that your hand moves naturally. Getting thicker and closer together. Okay, now I need to go somewhere else because all that ink is too wet. And one thing, always be careful where, or be cautious and mindful of where your hand is. Because you don't want to set it back into wet ink. That is a no-no. Okay, let's do this. And the idea always, no matter how many different pieces of hatching you have, that you want them to always go in a different direction than the ones before it. And also, as I start building out from that black shape, I'm trying to see if there's any wet ink. There is, so I'm going to have to go over here. It's going to get thinner. The lines are going to get thinner as they go out from the black. And then as they go in, they're going to get closer together and thicker. Boom, baby. Start off too thin. Okay, so these now I'm going to continue so they seem like they're going past the gun. Because even though the gun's there, the background continues past it. So you always have to be mindful, kind of like inking through the object itself. So it looks like it's the same, like that the background doesn't just stop at the gun. Okay. So it's starting to fade into that black now. So let me go this direction here. So that's pretty much into the black. It seems very random, but there is a pattern to it. And really the only way I can tell my place is the lines I'm throwing down reflect the light because it's wet. So it's coming together. Oops, see there's that junk on the nib. Always look down at your nib before you throw it or touch paper with it. Always, always. Otherwise, bad things happen. Okay. These ones are getting a lot thinner. You want them thick and close together as they go into the black. Then what I'll usually do is I do some kind of spattering and thumbprints in there to make it look a little bit more organic. So I try to do like spontaneous lines as well, so it doesn't look like a machine. Looks a little more organic. And this is bugging me, but I'll figure it out. Okay, let's get into here. And this is one of those places where this is interrupting, but I'll fake like it's continually going through. And if this was just these hatches here, I would probably use a French curve to connect the two sides better. But once I put all these extra hatches in there, you'll never know. So just try to get it close to where it needs to be, and it'll be fine. Okay, I can get back into this area, I hope. Okay, and back into the thick. Coming out of the black. So I'll zoom it in and let this ink dry, and you can kind of see how it's shaping up there. Yeah, I'm going to put my glasses on and see what the screen looks like. Oh, it's not bad. The resolution isn't great, but I've seen worse. I think Art's handling this more like Tucci did, letting Dynamite sell the variant. Yeah, I don't know if Dynamite does it or if I'm going to do it, because was Ethan selling them, or or did Dynamite do it? All right, you guys have been busy in the chat. Wow, it looks amazing. Nice, brother. I see Bill Gilmore ink with markers a lot. I don't see many people ink with brushes anymore. Yeah, I maybe I'll do some brush work on this if you guys are still willing to hang out with me. Howdy, Steve. Jay Potts. Cecil is a pro with the dirty line. The dirty line. I don't know what that is. The detail is ridiculous. This is real life magic right here. Ooh, I'm a magician. I'm a magician. Okay. It might be a strange question. Let me put this up. But I can't help but wonder if there is anything you actually want to ink with a dirty line. Oh, okay. Yeah, there is sometimes. Organics. Sometimes you don't want things to look too perfect, but you don't want it to be because the nib, was dirty or something like that. You want to be aware of it. You want to be in control of it. Okay, it looks awesome, dude. Don't worry, that was Sonic Goon. The cam's contrast is a bit which creates dark edges and kind of blots things. Contrast. I'm going to go into the camera and see if I can adjust the contrast. So is that better? It's probably on a delay. Let me apply this and see. Ooh, that looks worse. What the heck is wrong with this camera? Yeah, that looks weird. Let me go back. I'm sorry, guys. This is very unprofessional. So I'm going to go the opposite way with this and see what it looks like. And I can't see what it really looks like until I go to the camera. Well, now this looks, yeah, it looks really black. I'm going to go back once again. Contrast. That's what I'm messing with, is the contrast. Well, it's back in the middle. So brightness maybe? Okay. Boom. Boom. You know what? Maybe I'll check with the brightness again. That seemed to do something. Okay, let's see. Apply it. It's a little better. Oh, actually, that's a lot better. You know what? I'm going to try a little bit more. Thank you guys for indulging me on this. It also looks different. It looks different when it's on the show because I spend time to adjust this stuff before the show and it looks good to me. Yeah, that's about as good as it's going to get. So I apologize, you guys. I do try to get the best picture I possibly can for you, but it doesn't always work out that way, does it? I want this to be faded more in the black, but I gotta find a direction. All right, it's working a little better. Okay, let's go back up here. Okay. And then I need to get thicker and closer together to make that work. Okay. I'm gonna go thin again. Because I want this to look like it's more airy, less heavy. So I'm going with a thinner line. And this one, when you're putting less ink down, you can start going over them as far as a crosshatch because there's less ink, so the paper won't rip up. So this, I want a little thick again because I'm pulling out of the black area. I think I'm getting my rhythm now. The more I ink, the more my muscle memory and things like that come back. So sometimes it's like it can take like hours for me to find that sweet spot. Hands get a little sweaty. But it's coming along, my fade. My weird Frank Rosetta inspired idea. And this I'm trying not to be too patterned because I want it to feel a little organic. I don't want it to feel mechanical. So I think I want a darker area in here. So I'm going to build it up a little bit more. You want to change directions as much as you can. So once again, it doesn't feel mechanical. It feels more organic. Okay. Couple going this way. And then I need to bring these two shapes together. Okay. Keep wanting to get to that little open circular section there, but the ink is too wet. Can't get my hand in there. So I'm back to the thick stuff. You can tell by the sound to get that into the black look. So here is some of the detail. So I think all I have left is it Black's face? And then some of the hatching. Oh, I had that little broken robot piece in the bottom there. It's close. So close. Like I said, you guys, the only way I can tell where my hatches are is because it's wet. And I'm probably doing a no-no, but I'm going over wet ink. And I told you guys not to. I'm breaking my own rules here. Finally, I get to do these. So we're back into the thicker hatches into the black. So it's a lot of ink there. I'm going to come in like I do, and I dab, like once this black's in here, I dab some fingerprint smudges in there. And then it makes this look like just mist, like it's dissipating. It's pretty cool. And then most of the colorists I've worked with, they understand that it's kind of a mist creeping up. And so they color it accordingly. And it's a pretty cool effect. I think I might have an example. Hold on. While I'm letting this dry, you guys can check that out. And I'll see if I have an example. So it's kind of like this when it's all finished. You can kind of see the fingerprint and the hatching and how they interact here. Even a little bit in here, some in here. So this is kind of what a lot of this will end up looking like this in here. So, and then you can kind of see the hatching here like this, and then it comes around here. And what this did is it defined some of these shapes so that Thomas, the colorist, could come in there and see them, because I wanted some of this to be suggested. I didn't want it to be heavy. So this was heavily art directed on my part to try to get Thomas to key into these areas. And the cool thing about Thomas is he was always open to these things. So it didn't really click for him until I said, think of it like a spotlight right in the center here, like right behind her, and it's coming up like this. So it's kind of hitting the smoke and the mist, and it's illuminating these areas. So you know how light hits smoke? So I thought that was really cool. And I always like the one little unexpected color. That's like my Frank Frazetta training as well. So that's what I wanted to do with some of this blood here. And then maybe do a little bit of color. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm actually pointing at things you can't see. Like right here, like if it's green, like a neon green or lime green, and then just kind of around the base of the skull where it hits the water, that it would have some of those color elements in there against the blood or the black or whatever the watercolor is going to be. So at least that's, I do have some color ideas when I'm drawing. I mean, if you draw everything out, like here's a car, here's a building, here's this, here's that, you don't really have to worry about that stuff. But if it's these missed ideas and suggested parts of the art, which is what I like to do, I really liked when Mignola would do that, where things would kind of just dissipate into the shadow. And so everything wasn't always hard-edged, focused, or detailed. So even though my stuff is a lot more detail-oriented than that, but I still like those ideas. Going into the black again, so getting thicker. You can hear it on the paper. I think it's shaping up. And now you guys know what the end result will look like with that oodles cover. So then I come back in sometimes if I want things to be a little bit more dark. So you can kind of build it up. It's almost like stippling, where you can kind of keep building an area to the point of it being, maybe even a solid black. I really like ink. I always have in life drawing. When I was a student, I would draw from the models with black ink and markers and things like that. I always liked it. All right. No wet ink. Finish this little area here. Wow, this seems like it's been forever. Sometimes it just takes time. I think the effect is worth it, though. I think it looks very cool. And I have a couple colorists in mind. I would love to keep working with Thomas, but Thomas had a problem with my affiliation. So, guilt by association. He's very good, though. He's a very talented so-and-so. Sue and Sue. All right, which direction do I want to go in? I want to go in this direction here. It's funny because I saw a piece of Thomas's work involved with the brand campaign with Antonio Bryce's. And I was like, wait a minute. So I don't know how that came about. Maybe Antonio seems like a better guy, a nicer guy than myself. But yeah, he did some Comicsgate work. All right. I kind of like that. Well, let's go over to this side. And you guys can see how this whole thing's going to come together. I'm sorry if I'm talking low. I don't mean to, but my head is down and I'm focusing. Yes. inking around a smudge, an earlier smudge. Sometimes you smudge and you don't even know how you did it. You're like, wait a minute, how'd that get there? What did I do? I don't remember doing anything. Okay, so now you can hear I'm going into the black. Yeah, I'm not opposed to drawing a bunch of background stuff like cars and plants and stuff, but to me, I find some of that, like if it's too real all the time, it gets boring. I like kind of like Ridley Scott environments with smoke and color, and not necessarily things that are real, but just cool visuals. I think some of that stuff can be a little overdone. But, you know, necessary. You know, sometimes there's got to be a car or whatever. But for me, I still try to figure out how to do a cool environment to make it look interesting versus just normal. And there is, like, if you go to New York City or you go to different places, sometimes there is mist and different type of environmental effects, I guess. All right. I'm going to go to chat after I throw down a bunch of ink so I can let it dry. Once again, thanks, guys, for hanging. Okay, one more series. Maybe two more since that was light. Okay. I think that'll look cool. What I want is I kind of want multicolors too, coming up like this, but where there's a light source right in the middle here, kind of like that white piece. And then you can see that Black's leg is kind of falling into that mist as well. I did this. This is all subtle stuff, but I kind of brought more black into the leg so it reads better as a complete than this as the open more. So I brought more shadow and blacks into the sides. So he reads more, this shape reads more as a complete. And then I solidified this hatch here as well. Because once I did the blacks here, it just looked like it was more organic to put it there. So there's a lot of things going back and forth that you can do in inks. You don't always have to follow exactly what's there. Well, especially when you're inking yourself, I should say. But even when I'm inking other people, if there's something that I find inspiration in or that I think can make it a better piece, I'll add it. As long as it feels like an addition and not a subtraction, and not like you're trying to force your ego or will onto the piece, because you never want it to be that. You still want the penciler's integrity and drawing to come through. There are a lot of really good inkers that are really heavy-handed, and I could be in my prime, but I try not to be as much now. I try to figure out where I can come in and where I can shine, and then where I can pull back and let the power of the design or the drawing itself take over. As long as the basics are done, basics as far as line weights and all those things, the piece is working, the rhythm of it, the line weights, all those things. Okay, I think I'm going to do one in this direction, but very light. A couple going here. Boom, baby. And then we have this kind of swirling around. And then this. Doot, 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 doot. And sometimes I'll put the pen in the inkwell just to refresh the ink. It's not that I need more ink. It's just that I need to keep it wet. So that's pretty good advice too for you guys, that you don't always have to dip the pen in just because you feel you need ink. Sometimes it's good just to refresh the ink to keep it flowing, because it is a little hot right now, and so because of that, the ink's drying faster. Okay. Feels like I need something down here, maybe in this direction here. So, a little bit underneath white. So I used to do stuff like this in the 90s, but it was a lot thicker and a lot heavier. So this is kind of a more refined version of that idea. Okay, that's good for now. So what was I going to do? I was going to do Reed's face, Black's face, but I'll read some chat first, but I'll let you see kind of what's going on here. Let me get my glasses on so I can see what you're seeing. Yeah. So you can see it's just about done. I'll do Reed's face And then I'll get a black brush and come in here and just do a couple blacks just so you can see it come together. And then I'll let you guys go. I do appreciate you hanging. Let me tape this down. Go back to the chat. Roy Cover. Victor. This is worth a life. Black and White and Vamp. How are you able to house? I don't know. This is a variant cover deal with Vampirella, like EVS did. Yeah, definitely. Comic companies print up. Let me see this. Comic companies print up copies of a comic with your cover, and they can sell them. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times those covers are pretty killer too. The pin sounds so sharp. It might scratch up the paper. Yeah, that's what happens. And especially if it's too wet. If it's wet, the combination of the sharpness and the wet, it kind of destroys the surface of the paper. So very astute of you, Slick Rick. So, let me see what this is. No, just the artist usually, I think. The comic company makes money by selling the artist the copies, like a retailer. Oh my gosh, I have to buy copies? Wait a minute. Yeah, I don't know what my deal is. I don't have any money. Hey, Just Jack. Thanks for tuning in, Just Jack. It's just Jack. Don't worry, it's just Jack. All right. Sticky Wicked always has something cool to say. I think ours handling this more like Tucci did, letting Dynamite sell the variants. Yup. Okay. Let's see. Wait a minute. Wow. I had no idea where I was. Mike says, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Mike. Mike's being cryptic in the chat. Eddie Dingle just got here. Is this a commission? No, this is a cover for Dynamite. Vampirella-Black and White. Ours drawn the ladies. Nice. Okay, this has got to go up. See, when you guys say nice things, I like highlight. If you say mean things, then I just ignore them. Mikey is in the house. Okay. Shrinking that head. Oh yeah. Yeah, I did. I shrunk the head. I think it looks good now. I think he looks bad. Shut your mouth. When is this going on sale? You know what? I'm not sure, but I am going to try to start streaming more often. So once I find out the details of things, I will let you guys know. I will let you all know. So Andrew J. Gonna look for it. I did. Okay. Oh, it was from King of the Hill. Got it. Okay. Well, I'm caught up. Like I said, Black's face. Then we get a brush. And then we bid you an adieu. Adieu. I'm going to take a drink of water before I go back into this. Adieu. I should probably ink that gun too, but I keep my word. He's got a bit of the frowny face. I always find it better to start light than heavy with little details. Too much ink. The ink is not being nice. Okay. One eye in. Okay. Nibs being a pain. All right. So close. So one thing I always do before I ink the second eye is I really look over at the one already inked for placement, because you can't always trust when you go to ink the second eye that it's going to be the same, because you may have changed it slightly in the inks. So you don't want to necessarily ink it right on the pencil line for the second eye if you've changed the eye you just inked. I hope that makes sense. I can explain it better. So if I changed, like let's say I move the eye a little bit more in this direction, and then this one is still in the direction that lined up with this one. If I was to ink that right on the pencil line, it would look different than this one. So it's just a little trick that I figured out over time. So before you ink that second eye, evaluate what you did with the eye that's already inked. Like I said, I hope that makes sense. Because the thing is, once you've inked a line, that's what everything needs to hook into, is to that line, not the pencil line anymore. And you want to stay as true to the pencil as possible. However, if you have altered it slightly when you're inking it, that's the new line you need to follow. Either that, or you would have to white out the old one and then redraw it in, and it becomes a pain in the butt. So as long as you're not off like by a lot, just little millimeters, it'll all be fine. But just be aware of that, and you'll be okay. Let me see. I don't like this. All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to get up, get my brush, and then solidify some of this stuff for you. So give me a moment. I got to go get my brush. Yeah, I washed it and I didn't bring it back to my workstation. Later, bro. See you later, Mike. Have a good Sunday. If that was directed at moi. Art you should pay Mike in Age of Empires. Oh, play. I'm not a video game guy. When video games first came out in arcades when I was younger, I hung out there all the time. But it was very expensive and time consuming. And then at some point, rent and other things take priority. So you should always erase before you do blacks because sometimes erasing can pull up blacks. And I know there's some black areas that I already put down, but I kind of do those sometimes just to see if it's going to work or not. And I erased it pretty good before I put the blacks down. So then her hair, I inked up. Her face. The blacks are the most exciting part because you get to see it all come together. To see if your master plan is working. You know what? I'm just gonna. This is how I usually do it. I was just trying to be nice. Okay. I think this is good enough for now. So here comes the fun part. The ZBrush. I'm going to do this area because I wanted to. Since I sat down, actually. I don't know, there's things that you just want to do and you can't rationalize it. You just want to do it. Just want to do it because it seems fun. You can't go down too far because I still haven't drawn the lens. I got to do some research on what kind of lens it's going to have over the eye. So there's that. There's these little pieces here. I should probably ink the big stuff. It'll look better on camera. See how it starts coming together. Fades into the blacks pretty nice. All right, let's do our boot. I'm just having fun here. So any aspiring inkers out there, never skimp on the brush. Get good brushes. I have more than one because I'll alternate. So this is more my black, putting down blacks brush. It's not my inking brush. Although it's in good enough shape to do that, but I have another one that I prefer over this one. We have favorites. But you should be able to see how it's coming together. Starting to look more finished. Like I said, I really like this stage. You get to see it all pay off. And things in graphite look so much different than in hard ink. Look at that. Look at those folds. So subtle. Little wrinkles. You don't want to make them too realistic. Because I was looking up some of these boots, and there's a lot of like wrinkles and folds and stuff. And you don't want to do too much of it because aesthetically it starts looking too busy and it doesn't look attractive anymore. So you got to kind of pick and choose what you do because you don't want it to not be attractive. Always attractive. Never ugly. So yeah, next week I'm going to be doing a lot more of this, and I believe they will be chronomechanics pages that I will be bringing together. So you can see how all of this works. With the solid black in there. Okay, this was the shadow that was giving me the most trouble. And to be honest, this shadow was the whole reason I wanted to go from light to dark in this direction. Because I had like some shadows on her face where they were over here and they looked really cool. But I wanted this shadow right here that I'm painting in the blacks. So the whole light to dark or left to right, light over here, dark over here. Well, it all came from this idea that I wanted her to have a really heavy shadow underneath her. I think it's because she's white, and I thought that it would be a nice contrast and also a way to give her some weight and solidity. But it was definitely pulling teeth. And here's those hatches that I was showing you earlier. See how they play against the solid black? I love it when a plan comes together. I used to hear people talk about their art process and go, oh, come on, man, you're just making it up as you go. There's not that much thought or work that goes into it. And then the more you draw, you start realizing how much you don't know, and then that all those decisions or all those ideas are decisions that were made. They're like, should I put the black there? Should I not put the black there? How much hatching should go here? Should I open up this area? Should it be darker? It's like a billion different decisions that go into drawing a piece. Wow! Woo! That looks cool. I told you this was my favorite part. Okay, watch this. Okay, this is where it's going to get good. Is putting the weight down here. Told you. You guys never trust me. Always trust an inker. See how much easier this would have been if I would have actually inked this with the brush. You can see how it flows a lot better. So things that flow or need flow, sometimes I'll use the brush instead of a quill, even though it's kind of a quill piece of art. Sweet. I don't know if there's any artists out there, but I'll tell you, there's nothing worse than feeling like you failed in a piece of artwork. Like you did it and you look back and you're just like, oh man, this stinks. And you feel like you can't draw at all. And then, there's the opposite when you nail it and then you're like, yeah, I feel like I could do anything. And the anything is how I feel right now. I'm hoping it's not just my ego, but I think this is coming out good. Okay, I think that's her. So there she is. All right. So I'll figure out what I'm going to do for the ground later after I'm done here. The water. I'll think about what you guys have said. Your advice. It's always appreciated. These are all the little tedious blacks. Pretty cool. So you get to see how the hatches fade into the blacks. When I first started, I used to get disappointed in this state because I'd go, oh man, the hatches aren't fading enough into the black. So I'd kind of be disappointed. Now, I've done this a couple times in the past, and I instinctively know how thick they should go. I mean, there's sometimes I still misjudge it, but I hit it more often than not now. I remember Scott Williams used to tell me, he's like, I wish I could ink more like you. And I was like, why? He said, because you space your hatching out further than I do. And he said, so I end up having to put more hatches down than you do. And so it became kind of a stylistic thing for me and for him. So usually you can tell the difference in the day between Scott and I is usually my hatching will be a little bit further spaced. His is a little bit more fine and close. I think he comes from a more realistic background, and I like the more stylistic. So my style is somewhere, I think, between like very stylistic and realistic. And I mean stylistic, I mean kind of in more of like a bouncy, fun way. He's coming to get her. You guys can't really see the blue line on black here, but I ended up kind of repenciling the drawing, and I moved his body, this part of his body over to the right a little bit. It was a little too far over. So even from blue lines, there's always little adjustments and readjustments that you're making. And there's some people that can, I mean, they still end up doing that, but they do it quicker. They can adjust and draw, as they're drawing it. Sometimes I need a little bit of space from it, and I need to come back to it to see the potential problems. So what I usually do, because it is a slower process, is I'll work on like a lot of different drawings at the same time. So I have a bunch of commissions and different things that are drawn out. They're not finished. They're not inked yet. And like I said, I got like 3 chrono pages that I need to bring together in inks. And so that's how I kind of work. I kind of do a lot of those, the drawing or the rough stuff early, let it go, work on other things, and then come back. And the reason I work on many things at one time is so I can get things done. Because if I just waited and then came back to this one, waited and came back, then guess what? It would take forever. All right, almost got the chest. Boom. Hi, I'm Reed Blackett, aka Black, and I'm going to kick some ass. Okay. I still haven't gotten to the point where I've done a black in the shadows, because I want to do that, where he's very obscured and the shadows kind of coming out of him. And you just see bits and pieces of his suit. So I'm almost thinking, that's why I like all this piping and stuff, that you would see the piping as a pattern. Could be cool. I have volume 2's cover in a rough layout. Like I said, I got a lot of just things that I work on. When I get the idea, I throw them down and then go on to other things and then come back to them. Some more ink. I'm gonna bring some heavy blacks into the gun too. I don't know if you remember my little layout Xerox, but I brought some blacks into the gun. I thought it looked pretty good. I can show you. I think it's a little too much. I'll probably do these more as hatches, but I really like this one back here and the ones on the barrel, or on the where you put the bullets in chamber. I don't know what it's called. It's like a 6-shooter. I'll show you the black and white trading card before we go as well. So if any of you are tuning in now and didn't catch the beginning, since I've been here for a while, you can see what the black and white trading card looks like. It came out dandy. You guys are like, talk. Say something. I gotta somehow figure out how to get the computer in front of the drawing board. But I have my camera set up right here and I have lights here. So most of the board is already taken up. So I don't know how I would do it. But then I could just look straight up and read the chats and interact with you guys. But the way it is now, I have to put everything aside and then turn to my right, put my glasses on, and then read. Could probably be a lot more interactive if I could do that. Don't want to get too close because I still have to do some gun detail. So I was hanging out in the chat with Dan Frega last night. It was a lot of fun. I think he said he's going to do a video today, so it's probably the one from last night. But check it out. Towards the middle end, he has a bunch of Xeroxes, like old Xeroxes from different artists of the late or early 90s. And he's got a bunch of stuff that I inked, like Jim Lee and Will Spataccio and things like that. And he was showing them off yesterday. It was pretty cool. It was like memory lane. Like, I remember that. Yeah, I have a box. I've teased you guys before. If you've listened to me for any length of time, I have a couple boxes, Federal Express boxes full of stuff, just like what he was showing off, what Dan was showing off last night. And I should get those things out and show them off. They're first generation Xeroxes of X-Men pages. I used to make Xeroxes of all the pencils too before I would ink them. So I think there's a lot of, Jim Lee pencils and Will Spataccio pencils, Portaccio, and maybe even some Dan Jurgens breakdowns from Adventures of Superman. There's a bunch of stuff in there. I think I was making Xeroxes all the way up to working with Dave Finch on Ultimate X-Men and The Call. So I think I have pencils of those things as well. When I moved from the studio in Yorba Linda here, I got rid of a ton of stuff, and now I'm regretting it big time. Because I don't know, I'm not like a sentimental guy really, and so I just kind of hold on to things, and then I come back to them and go, why do I have this? And then I just get rid of it. Whoever's around or whoever wants it. And I think that's what I did with a lot of those pieces, Xeroxes. but I know I kept some of them because I even had like all kinds of Mike Mignola concept stuff. Because he would do a lot of concept art before he would start a project. I heard him talk, and when he was talking, I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel or how I would like to run my career. And he was saying that he was never really like felt like a monthly guy. Like it was hard for him to keep, these schedules and to do the work the way he wanted to on, a monthly schedule and things like that. And I broke in to the comics industry as a penciler. My first job in the comics industry was drawing, not inking. And what happened is it's kind of like Mike Mignola. He was an inker as well, that he was just kind of faster at it and more competent. I think it's because when you're working with somebody else, there's a certain level of detachment from it, because it's not your heart and soul, it's not your baby. And when you do your own books, they feel a little bit more personal. And so I was never really able to distance myself too much from those aspects. Like it always felt like I was heart and soul always, and I could do that with the inks and get things done. But the pencils, it was different. So that's why I like where I'm at now, because I can kind of not necessarily work at my own pace because I still have to keep a schedule and things, but it's not a monthly schedule. And so Mike was more like, do a series and then when it's done, put it out, versus kind of a monthly schedule. What's up?
Nothing. I just came to see how your drawing was coming.
Oh, it's coming, all right. It's so close, and yet so close. Haha, you thought I was going to say so far.
It looks so good.
It's cool. It's getting there. So after I get this black area here, I'm going to show everybody the black and white trading card from the stretch goal.
That thing looks so good.
Yeah, they did a good job with it. And
Did you bring up a calendar?
yeah, I showed the calendar the other day, but I didn't get a chance to show the trading card.
The calendars look good too.
Yeah, they came out great. And I told everybody about upgrading the ash can with color.
Uh-huh.
The cover is now full color. You saw it, right, this morning?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks great. And the paper, you upgraded on the paper and everything.
Yeah, it's more of a cardboard stock.
I was looking. This person wants to know how you deal with the inking extremely loose pencils.
It depends on my frame of mind and depends on what the pencils look like, but sometimes I really like it. But I was told from Frank Frazetta himself, he said, pencil tight, ink loose. That's what he always said. And so I always took him to heart. And so I always pencil tight, and I try to loosen it up in the inks. If it needs to be loosened up, that is. Okay, here it is. Boom, baby. The black and white trading card. Am I casting a shadow on it? Is that good? Ooh, look at the shine. And so there's the back. Pretty cool little freebie stretch goal right there. So that's what's cool about these campaigns is there's usually all kinds of stretch goals and fun things that get thrown in that don't cost the consumer anything. What?
I like Sticky Wicked Shiny. He sounds
Shiny.
like me.
Yeah. What do you say? Like you're like a monkey.
I am. I like the shiny stuff.
So there's Reed Blackett, aka Black. There's Whitney. I didn't ink the eyes because I'm still a little unsure about the eyes and eyebrows, so I got to figure that out. And so then there's the Vamp, Vamp, and the Fresh Vamps. And the skeletons, I'm going to work out the lenses, and then I'll work out the water detail. And then boom, we got a Vampirella Black and White variant cover. So let me see. I'm going to go to the chat. I said I'd go to the chat. See what's going on. Never cold. What is that? What does it say? My impression of the missus is that she is the most wholesome woman in the world. Yeah.
That's very sweet, Never Cold. Thank you.
He'll never be cold because of that. He'll forever be warm. Bling, bling. Yes. Let's bling, bling it. Never Cold got a back-to-back shout out. Wait. Trifecta. Dope. All right. Let's go back. Ghost of Henry. Hey, how are you? We got some new faces in the chat. We got James Hayes, Andrew J, Chung Lee co-host. I'd like to see. Cool. Yeah, you know what? Wait. Let's put this up. Okay, Andrew J. I'd like to see Kyung Lee co-host and also to provide Art some tech support if Boomer happens. Yeah, I mean, he lives really close. We've talked about doing shows together, but he is crazy busy with Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb right now in fulfillment. So soon, I hope, because that would be a lot of fun. A co-host, okay.
This one is interesting about Jim Lee.
Oh, wait. A co-host could be fun, but to be honest, I actually think Art has been stronger solo lately.
Woohoo!
Man, that was good for the ego. So what did you say?
The comics legend is watching you and Jim Lee at the same time.
Oh, cool. Is he live? That's cool. Yeah, I love to watch Jim draw. He's a performance artist, man. That guy's got it down. Yeah, I used to hate drawing right next to him because I would always think like, why can't I do it this like this? I used to think that it was just a given. Everybody was supposed to be able to do this, and then you realize later that Jim Lee is just an anomaly. He's the exception. He's not the rule.
I still remember the video that the Image guys put out where they were talking about drawing, and I forget which one said I can't draw feet. So he put a log in front of the feet, and then Jim Lee goes, I can draw feet, and he took out the log and put in the feet.
Oh, it was Todd McFarlane.
Oh.
It was Jim Wills, Rob Liefeld, and Todd McFarlane. and I think it was like Stanley was hosting it or something,
I
right?
forget.
Or something.
I just remember Todd said,
And
I
then-
can't draw feet.
And then I think Will structured the drawing up, and then Jim went in and kind of rendered it a little bit, or added some no, he just kind of inked, I think, the structure, kind of brought it together. And then Todd went in and said, yeah, you don't really have to worry about like feet, and drew a log.
Right. He said,
Because Jim-
always put stuff
Because
on
Jim
it."
didn't draw the foot. Like he just did, for whatever reason, he didn't draw the foot. Like it wasn't because he couldn't draw a foot.
Right.
It's just he didn't draw the foot. And so then Todd was talking about like how you could cheat things with the
Hide
cape
things.
and the log. And then while the camera was, it was still on the artwork, but Todd was thinking like it was done. Jim went in with the Sharpie and drew in the foot. Because I think Jim just his integrity, like he was like, I have to show them that I can draw a foot. Like this wasn't because I couldn't draw a foot. Yeah, but that's Jim's perfectionism right there. Oh, look at this. Sincerity. He meant every word.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a cool guy. We got cool people
Very
here.
cool.
Gus Tyler Bush, how are you? How are you, my friend? Jim Lee Drawing live right now on Twitch too. Yes. Andrew J. Oh, yeah. All right. Hey, Pamela, have you seen Mike? Oh, wait a minute. This is getting better. Okay, art is taller than Jim Lee standing on Mike S. Miller. I'll tell you right now, the order is exactly the way it is right here. Okay, I'm the tallest, and then Jim is the second tallest, and Mike is the shorty pants. And you've met all three, so you know, right?
Yeah, you guys are funny worrying about your height.
The only reason I do is because I think it really bugs Mike. Like, I don't care. I'm from a long line of Shorty McShorty pants. Yeah.
Peter Easy, hair.
What? Wait, what does this say? Feet are easy? Ghost of Henry?
No,
Feet-
hair is my damnation.
Oh, I thought he was like talking about Hobbit feet. Like when he first, I was like, hair, like feet are easy as long as you cover them with hair. Like a Hobbit foot. Mike is, what is that? Manlet? What is that? How do you say that word? A manlet?
A manlet, a small man. Oh, that's horrible.
Mike is a manlet. Oh, I'm writing that down. I've never heard that before. My manlet. Yeah. All right. Goes to Henry. That's coming back. I'll give you full credit for it. When Mike. Oh wait. Oh, what is this? Hate speech? How dare you? Victor, not anymore. Mike has got. Wait. Oh, the thing just shifted. Not anymore. Mike has gotten taller since then. He's the leader now. Oh, I'm never gonna get out of here. You guys are cracking me up. Oh shit. Never cold. Got a dip, guys. Okay, hey man, thank you so much. He says later, Mrs. T Bear as well.
Bye, Never Cold. Thank you for the sweet words.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good one. I was gonna say this weekend, but it's already almost over. So Slick Rick is laughing. Look at he's laughing. The tears are coming out of his eyes. Oh man, look at this. You guys are rocking it. Get her done. So that's like a parting shot. So very good. So I pretty much got this thing inked. I got her face. I got the lenses of the eyes and then the ground detail. But other than that, this thing will be done in about an hour. So I don't know, maybe I can come back and finish it up, but I got to take a break now. So bye, Gus Tyler Bush says. So thanks, Art. Adieu. Adieu.
Parting
Roxham.
is such sweet sorrow.
It is sweet sorrow. So I showed him the trading card. I inked. I brought this together. What did I? Oh, I hate this mouse. If you bump it, the buttons go all the way down to the front. So if you bump it, it will do things. So check out the Chrono Mechanics Indiegogo pre-launch page. It's up now. Do you have anything to say about the Chrono Mechanics?
Oh, I'm enjoying watching the colors and renders work over your thumbnails and stuff. I think this book is so funny. There was one page that he did that Skippy, I did nothing but stand and laugh at the images of Skippy. But Skippy's my favorite anyway.
Skippy's the intern, but actually he's more than he gets paid, right? He's on salary.
Yes,
He's
he gets paid.
Should he should be more like he's the foreman's personal assistant, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's 15.
He's a kid. I think that's why I always say he's an intern. But yeah, I think it's when they're talking about, well, who's going to tell the foreman? And then I think maybe Eugene says you are, and he's like, don't. Is that where he's making that face? Like, what?
It was hysterical. I really believe you guys. If you like funny things, I think you're going to love it, because I know Art and I are having a ball.
Yeah, Pamela's co-writing it with me. And so we're putting that together. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, so the quick pitch is H.G. Wells meets the Looney Tunes. And Chrono Mechanics is about a group of time repairmen, Team 9.2 of Sector 7, and they repair the big machine known as time. So there is the pre-launch page. If you guys don't know yet, the pre-launch page will get you access to exclusives and some freebies. And so I think you only have a few more days to be eligible for that, because we are going to go live probably Wednesday or Thursday of next week. So the campaign will be up and running. So if you want to be eligible for those exclusives, you should sign up for the pre-launch page now. And we just got in the video from Von Klaus of Monster ND fame, and he helped out on the video, and it looks pretty darn amazing. So that will go up at the same time the campaign, so you'll be able to see the video then as well. So thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Check out Chrono Mechanics, and thanks for the fun hang. Take care.